two couldn't care a monkey's. Mr. Wilson's headquarters at Huyton, Lancashire, on the eve of the polls of Britain's second election in 12 months. An election, some say, which could decide the fate of the country. Mr. Wilson says the social contract is the only answer to the most serious economic crisis since the war. At Sidcup, Mr. Heath says the crisis can only be solved by a government of national unity. He says he will consult all parties to find a solution to the nation's ills. At the Liberal headquarters at Barnstaple, Mr. Thorpe says the two leading parties are waging a war which is bleeding the nation to death. He calls for an end to the divisive and unrepresentative two-party system. Meanwhile, in Trafalgar Square, the crowds await the results with the usual air of festivity, crisis or no crisis. Countdown at Huyton. Here, at any rate, Mr. Wilson has no worries. And at Sidcup, too, the result is as certain as any election result can be. But some say Mr. Heath's position as leader of the Conservative Party may well depend on whether or not he goes to number 10. At Barnstaple, it's the end of one of Mr. Thorpe's most energetic campaigns. With more Liberal candidates in the field than ever before, he looks for a new dawn for the Liberal Party. It's Mr. Heath for Sidcup, but with a slightly reduced majority. And as the results come in from all over the country, Mr. Heath has to face the fact that his party has polled its lowest percentage of the vote this century. In Trafalgar Square, excitement mounts. The crowds cheer whoever appears on the screen. Mr. Wilson is in, also with a fractionally reduced majority. The overall low poll he feared throughout the country has in fact happened. But for good or ill, Labour is returned with the overall majority they sought, but only 3. And the triumphant Mr. Wilson returns to Downing Street for the 4th time, calling for a united effort to solve the nation's problems.